The entire field of nutrition coaching is changing everything in health and fitness. I've seen it over my last 15 years in this industry, and I'm seeing it more and more every single day. The good thing about nutrition coaching, this is good news for anyone that's getting interested in it, thinking about starting it, or if you're an established coach. Um, the reason why I share everything I do, and I think a lot of people think I'm crazy in terms of like the methodology and teaching stuff, like why don't I just keep that to myself and get more clients and scale the business that way? I don't believe in it because on there's many people that don't come to me, and the people in my program, I can see it. They start, like, these coaches start working with people that would never come across my stuff, and it's the most rewarding thing. So if I'm on the path of truly, helping everyone become healthier, I need to teach this stuff. And the good news is, if you're considering this stuff, the absolute best news is that there's more people than ever before that are investing in this kind of stuff. And it's a relatively new, I don't, new field. It's a really relatively new option for a lot of people. Uh, when I was growing up in health and fitness and thinking about like what are my options, how do I get help, how do I get support, and all those things, like coaching in this aspect didn't exist. We'd read articles, we'd, watch YouTube videos and that kind of stuff, but there's no one really helping you apply that stuff. And nutrition coaching is filling that gap. Hey Dallas, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions as we, go through the stuff today, by all means drop them. I'd love to hear a little bit more about you. I know you're digging the content and experience and benefiting from it. So I'd love to hear a little bit more from you. Um, but there's more people than ever before investing in this stuff. And I like to think about nutrition coaching really as like the perfect trifecta, because it's a service that so many people start businesses that are based on products or services that people don't truly want or feel like they need. But when it comes to nutrition coaching, it's really clear for the people that are actually going to pay you that they want this service. And that's why it's like I almost feel lucky and fortunate at times that I more or less stumbled into this, because it's like it's something that people actually want, which makes it much easier to sell. It's something that they also need in terms of rates of obesity are higher than ever, inactivity. There's more confusion surrounding how people should eat and what they should be doing than ever before. And to be completely honest, just as much as there's much confusion, there's just as much knowledge out there. There's more information that people have access to than ever before. And they're still not applying that stuff. They're still not putting it into action. And nutrition coaching changes all of that. It's also, what's interesting about this is that the way the service is delivered makes it really conducive to getting results, which is always good for business because this is very much a results-based business. The way we deliver the service in terms of things can be completely online. It's not another thing that people need to add in. You can you can conduct the service in a way that's flexible. It doesn't require anyone traveling necessarily or meeting you in person or any of those things. Clients love that stuff. It's like, if I can get a result, I can work with someone that I know and trust. If I don't have to do anything extra, if I can put these things into action relatively quickly, and it helps me solve a problem that I have been able to solve before, I'm willing to pay for it. And that's why so many nutrition coaches are like, their businesses are taking off. They're getting clients. They have 10 clients. They have 20 clients. They have a full client roster, which for many nutrition coaches would be like upwards of 40 to 50 clients. We have coaches within our program that graduated our program that start taking on assistant coaches to work within their business. This is all the stuff that's possible with nutrition coaching. It's changed my life, and that's why I teach this stuff, because I know it can change your life too. The good news is, when it comes to this stuff, is that there's still room for you too. To get started, I mean, there's a bunch of ways to get started. The best and most effective way is to go through a process where someone shows you a step-by-step way. That's why, um, I have the nutrition certification, and enrollment is open right now. If you're curious about how to get that stuff started, by all means, like, reach out and let's chat about it. Enrollment in the program is going to be open. We're going to close it down tomorrow night, or when we fill 3 more spots, which is looking more and more likely. I got 2 calls tonight booked. So if you're on the fence, like, time to make a move is now. You can check out more details about the program right here, but that's the best way to get started. I created this thing because what I learned in 12, 14 years, I've condensed it into 90 days to get you started. Like, why wouldn't you take that step to go through, like, why go through all that troubleshooting? Can you do it on your own? Absolutely. But kind of go from there. Jeffrey Knox, I'm just starting personal training. I need some info. Jeff, I don't want to, I know you applied for the program and I did respond. So maybe check your spam filter and get some more details. Let's get on a call and let's chat about how nutrition coaching can support your personal training business, because obviously personal trainers are in an interesting spot because you can do all the right exercises and the most effective training program, that stuff, and your clients can leave the gym and do whatever they want, and the additional 23 hours a day and their results can be really impacted. And that doesn't look bad on them, it looks bad on you. So we have to have the right nutrition strategies in place, and it can't just be you giving them like tips and suggestions and answering questions within sessions, because it just doesn't work. It doesn't give them a chance to apply it. They receive the information, but they don't really know what to do with it. And there's no real system in place for you to check in and follow up and measure if it's working. And that's why nutrition coaching fills that gap. Dallas says, I'm wondering how I can manage the online nutrition business and also take in some in-person clients around town or from my gym. Have you done both? For the first, like, I would say 8 to 9 years of my nutrition coaching career, I also was working as a strength coach, primarily with powerlifting clients and elite powerlifting clients, many of which I worked with in person. We'd show up at the gym, we would train together. I would give them feedback. I'd go through that process. But they would also be my nutrition clients, and I would conduct all of the nutrition coaching online outside of those sessions. They would check in with me on Mondays. And even if I saw them Monday evening, I would still do their check-in and voiceover and go through that process online, just because it's much more scalable. Instead of like talking to people in person, I could do 12 check-ins in 2 hours and have that done and be working with that many clients, per month. So that's how I would do that. I would suggest you do that. Having in-person clients that are either training based or that from different things is great. I would still conduct the business online though. I definitely try to get everyone into the online system. Some people in older age groups really struggle with all the tech involved though. I could make instruction videos on Loom. Absolutely. So what we teach you in the program to do is just like creating, I was talking to one of our students today about this, is creating some of those, I would say just more generic instructional videos to do, like, to show them about tracking, show them how to access the technology. And therefore, like, it's more scalable. You can use that video more than once and then go from there. Yeah, Jeffrey, here's my calendar right here. I'll pass that along. Darren says, what do you think is the best way to present your nutrition plans? Darren, give me a bit more context on that one. Do you mean like when someone could be interested, or the best way to just like talk about your nutrition coaching? Fill me in on that. I'm going to pull up this, my calendar link for Jeffrey in a second. Who else has got some questions about this? Darren, give me a bit more context and then I'll answer that. I have an idea of what you're getting at here. I think let me just riff off for a second, not rip off. Maybe I stole this. I don't know. Let me just riff. There's that booking link though, Jeffrey. If I'm riffing off for a second, what most service providers do is that, like, here's the options for you to work with me in a nutrition capacity. You can work on one-on-one, buy my ebook. Here's this like group challenge. Here's all these things and all of these options. And what I find in most scenarios is that, like, you give too many people too many options. They have just like way too much to think about and they never take action and that type of thing. I'd rather, and what's what we teach in the program, is that I would rather, instead of presenting people the differences of going down, of like what they could do and the fulfillment and the differences between the nutrition plans, I would just try to gather as much information around like what they want to accomplish and take them through a process where you show them right now what about their nutrition is holding them back from reaching their goals, and then present to them one-on-one coaching. Because if you can clearly articulate and show people what's holding them back, they're going to automatically assume that you have the solution. And you can even start to lay out the plan in terms of what you would address, what things would look like, and what coaching would look like. And they're going to be much more likely to take that next step because you've had a conversation around it. It's very similar to what the consultation process would look like in terms of in-person personal training. You take people through some movements, you get a better sense of their goals, then you talk about their options around taking the next step. I would do it the same way, just in nutrition capacity, instead of being like, here's all the things you can do. I've been creating full plans as a PDF with details covering calories, macros, lifestyle strategies, just wondering how other people deliver their initial programs. I would, like, a PDF is great in terms of like providing more information and what that would look like. I include all of those details like in a shared sheet that they also track and log their future weeks on. So that's how I would deliver that aspect and go from there. In terms of lifestyle strategies, my philosophy around coaching is probably like less like, here are all the things you could do and address, and more like, based on your situation, here's the thing that is going to be the lowest hanging fruit for you. Let's put that into action this week and measure how well it's working next week, instead of here's all the things you can do. I find that most coaches, again, it's all about options. When you present people with too much information, they don't really know what to act on and go from there. So in my experience, less is more, because it's going to give people more straightforward, actionable advice that then you can therefore measure as a coach. Hope that makes sense. Dallas says, I'm a NASM CNC and did get Bachelor of Science in Exercise Science, and I have obsessed over the knowledge of this for a decade. As I was a college athlete and grew up in a household with diabetes, I'm considering a dietitian master's degree. Very, very great. Like, amazing. Good for you. Continued education is so, so important. Dallas, I guess the biggest thing is, like, what do you want to do? Like, where are things going? Do you feel as if, do you like the aspects of being self-employed and working for yourself? Do you want to work in a clinic? Is there something that lights you up? Fill me in on that, and maybe I can help push you in a direction that could be helpful. You do also sound like the person that we help with in the program as well. So if you haven't checked out any of those things, now's the time to do it. Jeffrey, good to see you booked in. Looks like we'll be chatting tomorrow. If anyone else wants to get on a call about the program, I would still encourage you to apply, but feel free to, check out my booking link there, and we can get on a call and then go from there. Looking forward to it, Jeffrey. Anyone else have any questions? The thing that gets me so excited about nutrition coaching, and I'll be very forthright about this, and I truly do believe it's changing the landscape of health and wellness. And I think the missing gap between the healthcare system, which in so many cases, first of all, is life-saving and evidence-based, but I mean, in terms of drawbacks, it does help people that once they're already sick or an emergence, like something that has already emerged and it needs to be solved with. So it's bridging the gap between that, which people try to be proactive in terms of like RNs, doctors, they try to give you advice around like how to be preventative and stuff, but it's not the right place, because things typically are so far gone in most cases. Nutrition coaching just gets so far upstream. It's better. It's better in terms of like how to deliver this stuff in a way that like people are self-motivated to do. They're invested in, they're going, getting way ahead of it. It's much more proactive. And it's the personalized nature of having someone in your corner that isn't just like, hey, I got to go see my GP every year and I'm scared about that visit. Like, having someone in your corner to help you address these things at more frequent touch points through time to reach goals that are meaningful to you. I mean, that's what's changing the healthcare system. Really, really is. It's getting way ahead of it. And it's the right delivery of that service, not just going into, one-off counseling session, or seeing someone that really isn't equipped to assess where you're at and give you feedback and direction through time. That's why this stuff is changing everything. Dallas says, when I graduated college, I was just not ready to self-market and put myself out there. I had to do some real inner work, and I'm glad I did. I'm excited. Thank you immensely. Oh man, so happy to hear that. It pumps me up without a doubt. Do you have a sense of like what's next for you? Fill me in, and then we'll go from there. Does anyone else have any other questions? Darren, let me know if that made sense for you as well, that answer, and if it's helpful, and if there's anything else you can like work in terms of your approach. That's how I would do it though. That's how we teach to do it. Yeah. Just a reminder though, enrollment in our program, 90-day nutrition certification, gives you everything you need and nothing you don't to start nutrition coaching, get paying clients. We address the marketing side of things, but we also, I personally have been a professor teaching full university courses, macronutrients and metabolism, current issues, that type of stuff. The beginning of our program is like the applied version of that, what you need from that to take from that and to deliver into a coaching model. And then we transition into how do we start building out the actual coaching system and coaching process. How do we market our business? How do we get clients? How do we actually coach those clients and fulfill them from start to finish, from the place where they reach out? Jeffrey, I mean, I'm working hard in the gym. I know this nutrition piece is a big part of it. What do I do? And then go from there. And then like to the point where we graduated them. I've been self-employed for 3 years now. Amazing. That is so, so good. How is everything going with your coaching? Is this something that you've been doing PT stuff for the last 3 years, or has it been nutrition coaching the entire time? That's so exciting. That's really, really good. Honestly, I've gotten to the place where there's literally been periods where I've worked with 100 plus clients. I've probably worked with like around 2,000 nutrition, one-on-one nutrition clients over the last little year. Over the last like 10 years. And I think I also, just for the record, I feel like I'm pulling off right now, but I can't multitask. So when when questions come up, I just like I divert my attention. And go through all that stuff. But I still remember personally, like my first paying client, like that feeling of being like, someone's going to pay me to do this, not through a business, just completely through my own, like that trust and that excitement and all that stuff. It's still the best thing. And I still get that way to this day. When someone signs up for one of my opportunities, I'm like, this is the coolest thing. Darren says, yes, thank you. I think the advice of less is more is important, as I sometimes feel the need to provide too much information early on. Take comfort in knowing that like that is 90% of the issue that most of us face, is that we want to go into that almost like, it doesn't matter where in the coaching process it is, if it's at the beginning or midway or whatever it is. We just want to be advice monsters, right? Like we want to give so much because we're so passionate about it. We care so much. We want to give people options. We got to find that balance between like being prescriptive with what is actually going to work for them and they're willing to do, and then holding them accountable to that. Because I mean, if you think about any other expert-based role, like you want someone else to call the shots. Do you want to be involved? Do you want to have some autonomy? Do you want to learn some things through the process? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you want someone to guide you down that process. I know I personally do. I always think about like, as an analogy, like going to get my oil changed, right? Like I'm not a big automotive person. I don't know much about, I YouTube things to figure things out when they're a little haywire and stuff, but I don't know much. That's why I like, get someone else to do those things for me, change my oil, whatever it is, checkups, that kind of thing. It's like when I go in there, like I'm just like, they ask what my, yeah, no problem. When they ask what type of oil I want and stuff and what it looks like, and that I lean into the experts. Like I want a result from this interaction. Would I like to learn more things? Sure, but it's not as important as like giving me what I need to be successful, and then learning through that process and then going from there. No problem, Dallas. Sometimes it's not the best way to chat and communicate, but maybe book in for a call too, and we could talk about where you're at and see where areas where I can help. Does anyone else have any questions for this process? Nutrition coaching very much is the future. It's changing everything. It gets me super excited about things. I'm going to do what I learned from your videos. I'll message you on IG. By all means, send it over, and then we'll go from there. Let me know if there's anything else right now, and we'll go from there. Outside of that, program's open till tomorrow night. Drop an application, and if you're watching the replay, feel free to drop a comment, fill me in on where you're at. Make sure to like and subscribe if this is first time on the channel. Anything like that really supports the work that we do. Outside of that, let me know if there's anything else, guys. Have a good day.